For parts of northeastern Macon, southeastern DeWitt, and western Piatt counties here. This storm has had a history of some rotation, and thus we are now streaming coverage on digital platforms, and we'll be running through the 6 o'clock newscast now here. Meteorologist Jack Griffin and meteorologist Kevin Leidy are in the field right now. They are in Springfield. We may hear from them later, but for now we're going to talk about this particular warning that was just issued seconds ago. This tornado likely now just to the north of Argenta, moving off to the north and east. This will not include the city of Decatur. It will not include Monticello. It does not include Clinton. Rather, it's the area right along Illinois 48 between Weldon and Cisco and north and east of Argenta. This will include Interstate 72 between the Argenta exit and the Cisco exit. The storm itself moving slowly to the north and east at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And the tornado warning does include the city of Weldon, the city of Cisco, and the city of Argenta. It also is going to include Illinois 48 between Cisco and Weldon. If you're at Clinton Lake right now, that area not included in this tornado warning. This is the only warning we have, though. There are a number of other storms in the area, though, that we've been watching particularly close here. Just one tornado warning in effect right now for northeastern Macon, western Piatt, and south and eastern DeWitt County, and that is going to go here until 6:30. The storm located over Argenta, or 11 miles southeast of Clinton, moving off to the north and east at 15 miles an hour. There is a severe thunderstorm watch that was issued last hour for much of central Illinois, and that's going to include Champaign. It will include Mattoon, Charleston, Springfield, Decatur, and Bloomington Normal. But the main issue we have at this point is for the tornado warning that is located here in areas near Argenta, moving off to the north and to the east. I do want to know, just in the back control, we do have Kevin and Jack. They'll be available to talk from there, and so when they're ready, if I can set it out to them, they're going to talk a little more about this. Then I'll show some photos of this warning as I get some other alerts sent out through the app. So Jack and Kevin, we've been watching today for some of these areas of rotation. What have you been seeing?
Yeah, we are here in Springfield. Ironically, we're here programming weather radios for events just like this. But as Jacob has been talking about, this new tornado warning that has just been issued, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and step up here on the monitor that we have behind us here. Here's the thing. We're doing this on the fly. This is happening here as we speak. Tornado warning, as Jacob was talking about here, that is just west of Cisco, right there. That's I-72, that's right there, okay? There's rotation here. We've already had several funnel reports here from some of the other storms, and I just saw the picture from earlier that was actually northeast of Mahomet and over around the Fisher area of a funnel there as well. But this tornado warning here is for DeWitt, Macon, Piatt. Now, it's radar indicated right now, so we've not had any official confirmation, but this thing is rotating. We've seen these storms have these little funnels here. So right now, a huge area of concern is going to be there along I-70, right there at, we've got Highway 48 there and I-72. So you're talking about the northeastern portions here of Macon County going into kind of DeWitt County here as well, and then just kind of the sliver of Piatt County. But if you're anywhere basically between Weldon and especially kind of just south of Cisco and that general area there, that is a very large area of concern with this tornado warning that is in effect until 6:30 p.m. as it continues to move off here to the north and to the east. You can kind of see the trajectory that this may take. So down the line, listen, you just need to kind of pay attention there to Monticello. Then, of course, along Highway 10 there, definitely be on the lookout as this storm is going to be moving in. There are several other little cells that are beginning to pop up here. We're monitoring this and keeping a close eye on the severe weather. And again, we're actually at the Hy-Vee in Springfield programming weather radios for events just like this that are happening tonight. And those weather radios possibly going off here. And you need to be taking shelter if that weather radio is going off, if you're into portions of DeWitt, Macon, Piatt counties with a tornado warning that is in effect. Jacob, you're back there. I know we've been looking at some of the different cameras that have been giving us a really good view of the storms out there tonight as well. And you've seen some of those funnels. We've had people tweeting in some of that as well. I know we've got some chasers, we've got some people, some spotters that are on these storms are going to be able to see a really clear view into just how this is developing. But this is a storm definitely to pay attention to. It's got that classic hook to it, that little bit of a notch that's showing up there. So right there, that's going to be crossing Highway 48 in the next minute or so, just north and west of Cisco. Jacob, you've got some photos for us that are coming into us. Show us what some of our viewers and spotters and chasers are seeing out there tonight.
Yeah, Kevin, there was actually a tornado reported northeast of Mahomet earlier. That storm has weakened, no longer a threat for Champaign County. We've been watching it closely. This photo came at about 5:30 via Nicole. She lives north of Mahomet, was looking off to the north and east there. You can see the funnel briefly touching down right here. Again, this tornado report from Champaign County. There is no tornado warning for Champaign County, though this storm spun up quickly, dropped a tornado, and has since weakened there. There are some other photos I'd like to show you. In fact, we've been watching this storm in particular for a little while now here, and I'll show you some photos that I have for my Twitter. This was posted earlier. You can see this wall cloud down here. If we can go ahead and bring it full, I think that'll allow us to see it a little bit better. This was at about 4:45 or so, looking west of Decatur on the carriage crossing camera. The storm itself fairly intense in nature. A little while later, this thing came darn close to making contact with the ground at about 5:15, and it has been slowly spinning ever since. Now the rotation picked up enough for this potential tornado to be down near the Argenta area. I will mention another photo came in from a friend, Andrew Pritchard. This was from near Weldon earlier, a well-defined funnel cloud that came down. This storm no longer an issue. That storm has weakened, but we've been watching this storm carefully. About 5:35 or so, we could see that well-defined wall cloud north of Decatur. That storm now over towards Argenta. Another storm chaser friend named Rob, he got this photo north of Decatur near Maroa, seeing some of that rotation as well. So we've got eyes on this storm and are keeping a close eye on it. And another vantage point, this one looking off near Mahomet, that earlier storm that had a brief tornado touchdown north and east of Mahomet. Again, I stress there is no concern right now for Champaign County based on radar. We're primarily here for this one supercellular thunderstorm with a tornado warning until 6:30. That's going to be for northeastern Macon, western Piatt, and southeastern DeWitt County here. Overall, the storm itself is slow moving. It's been about an hour and a half from Illiopolis to where it's at now. The area of rotation now to the north and east of Argenta, west of Cisco, west and north of Cisco, that is here. And so that's something that we're going to watch really closely here for a little while longer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this camera real quick, and I'm going to turn our Champaign camera off to the west and see if we can get a look at it here. And before we jump to Kevin, we'll see if we can't get a nice vantage point on that sky cam. And this is going to be looking off in the west and a little more of a southwest direction. One issue we may have is the rain may be obscuring our view here. So we're watching that Champaign camera, but I will throw up the Decatur camera also. We've been having a vantage point from that, and that one may give us a better look at it. I will say, though, is this particular camera may be a little bit of an issue due to the light pollution, I guess you could say, sneaking on in. So we've got that camera up now. Let me tune it down just a little bit and zoom it out. So as we were trying to get a close look here off to the north and east of town. And you know, hard to tell at this point because of how far away the storm is up to the north and east of Argenta, but it's off in that general direction. The visibility no longer really good here thanks to some haze and some buildings that are in the way. All right, so let's bring it back to radar here and talk a little more who's in, who's out. And again, if Kevin is good, let me know. And if I'm on the floor as well, you can give me a thumbs up. Okay, I can see them there. I'll talk more about this storm real quick here. The tornado now, the possible tornado, likely crossing Illinois 48 right now, about 2 miles north of Cisco. At this point, we can call all clear for Argenta. This is not an issue for Decatur. This is not an issue for Clinton, not an issue for Monticello. Cisco, moving off to the north and east, Weldon in the path of this. That's where Illinois 10 and Illinois 48 intersect. And eventually on this path here, we'll carry it to the north and northwest of Monticello, very near D-Land and Lodge. If you're familiar with that area right up here, there's a railroad crossing on Illinois 10. It's right by the curves there, a number of trees there before you hit the open prairies there from D-Land on points to these. In fact, D-Land Weldon School sits right in there. Not officially in the warning, but downstream we'll be watching for the city of D-Land. All right, Kevin, if someone in this area has a weather radio, it likely went off because of this tornado warning. A lot of us went off because of the severe thunderstorm watch as well. The one we have right here in the studio went off. Jessica Coons was a little frightened by that. But these are important because they give information when needed in these types of situations. Tell us a little more about that and what you're seeing out in the field at Hy-Vee.
Yeah. Exactly. These weather radios here, we're in the grocery store here at the Hy-Vee in Springfield, and we ironically are programming weather radios here because yes, these are important, these are going off. But here's the awesome thing, we've got the equipment here to be able to also do tornado coverage
in the produce section.
In the produce section of the grocery store. The team is here. We got you covered no matter where we're at. This is definitely showing that. Let's take a look at the storm here, Jack. So this is the storm of concern that we've been watching here. So this is going to be just north of Cisco along Highway 48. We literally just drove over this area just a little ago. Correct. on our way out here. And Jack, talk a little bit more about the storm here that we've got.
Well, one of the things that's kind of interesting of note as of right now is that it's a slow mover. It's only going at about 15 miles an hour off to the northeast. So in addition to the strong winds that are here with this, you've got the hail size of less than an inch, but the heavy rain, that's going to be a big factor with this as well. This storm is going to be dumping a tremendous amount of rain, and it's not moving very quickly, so it's going to be over the same spots for a long time.
Slow-moving storm, and we can put a little bit of a path on this for you as it kind of goes off to the north and to the east. So down the line, these are kind of down the line. If it would kind of stay, on track there, it's going to take a while to get to places like Whiteheath and kind of Seymour here. But this is going to hug right there just north of I-72, between Highway 10 and I-72 is kind of what we're looking at with the storm. But right there's that hook, that little notch there, just crossed over 48 and is north of 72.
And this is not the first storm that has rotation with it. We've seen a number of the cells that have popped up, even though they haven't had warnings with them. We're getting pictures of funnel clouds with them. So there's rotation in the atmosphere,
yeah, a lot
and
of
this
these,
one has tapped into it.
Yeah, a lot of these different cells, because we've actually had people earlier sending pictures and saying, hey, we've seen funnels, hey, we've seen some of this here. But the storm of concern, obviously, is our one that is here into northeastern Macon County, heading into DeWitt County here, and eventually Piatt County as well. So that hook and that rotation is definitely showing up. So hopefully you are taking shelter. Maybe you got your weather radio. You've got your WCIA 3 weather app that you can take with you. Watch our streaming coverage. Look at the radar yourselves. A lot of different ways to get notified about these. But that was the whole point of coming out here. We knew that there might be that threat, that there might be severe weather, but we knew this was important, that we wanted to get people out here to get those radios, get them programmed, ready to go. And just so happens to be, here we are doing tornado coverage out here.
And in fact, the area more of concern for severe weather is actually a little bit more west of where this popped up too, and we're expecting more rounds here to continue later this evening into tonight. So this might be a long night for us here with tracking storms.
Exactly. Jacob, we're going to send it back to you. You got some more pictures and more analysis of what's going on with the storm, but hey, this thing's rotating out there for sure. So Jacob, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Kevin. I want to talk about a little bit more of the rotational signature that's in here and the radar. We show you a lot of those greens and yellows and reds here, and that is usually the intensity of the storm. The velocity mode allows us to look at where that area of circulation is here, and it really sticks out like a tack in the sunshine here, right north of Cisco, about 3 miles north of town. These greens and reds, an indication of a very strong circulation in place, and that's very much now just east of Illinois 48. The thing to note about radar is oftentimes when we get that sweep to move on through, the storm itself has moved a little bit off to the east. So it's now likely to the north and east of Cisco ever so slightly. Areas west of Illinois 48, we can give you an all clear. The city of Cisco, let's stay in our shelter for a little bit longer here. I will mention we did get a message that there is a sirens going off in the city of Monticello. Monticello not technically in the tornado warning at this time, but it is very close and will likely pass to the north. I think on its trajectory, it will likely stay north of 72, north of Monticello. D-Land, Lodge, Whiteheath downstream will watch here. Weldon, give me some more time. Argenta, you are in the all clear. Lane in the all clear. Anyone to the west of Illinois 48 in the all clear here. But these reds and greens coming together, we've got winds going away. We've got winds going towards the radar, towards and away. Our rear flank downdraft really kicking out here and starting to show that increase in rotation now about 2 miles to the north of Cisco. I want to try and get some footage here, and if we can, we've got the graphics full screen there. This storm does have some rotation with it, and there was an EA message that came into the news account of some video, and we're trying to get that here. If someone in news is able to check the messenger on Facebook, you can send your reports and videos and photos to us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on more here because of this storm. And I'm not able to get my Apple TV working now, so if someone in the back can check that and help us get that in. Some really impressive video of this circulation. We also have reports of rotation from spotters in the area from this. Radar is showing that very well here. We're looking at velocity now. The tornado warning continues here as the storm is near Weldon, northwest of Monticello, and continuing to be quite impressive. Let's take a look more at the actual storm tracker Doppler. When you look at that rotation, that pixelated icon was sitting right here. This is a supercell thunderstorm. Your updraft wraps around like this. Your rear flank downdraft winds are coming in here, and that's helping to produce that area of spin just to the east of Illinois 48, about 4 miles northeast of Cisco, or about 8 miles to the west-northwest of Monticello. At this point, areas west of Illinois 48, in Macon County and in much of DeWitt County, we can give you an all-clear. Weldon, this storm should stay south of you by a few miles. The tornado warning polygon was trimmed down and does include areas located between Cisco, Weldon, and Monticello. Rural areas. Weldon eastward on Illinois 10. No warning as of now in D-Land, in Lodge, and in the D-Land-Weldon High School there. Illinois 48 is in the clear. To the east, though, we're watching it. This storm now moving to the north and east at about 20 miles an hour. The warning goes in effect until 6:30. Now, a quick reset of the entire viewing area. Lots of folks saying, hey, I've got some rain. I can see on our Facebook Live on our digital platforms where we're doing our extended coverage. Also, you can pull up Facebook, head to your shelter, watch on your phone there. Some chats and some reports. There's some rain coming down in Gibson City and off towards Farmers City. But overall, the area looks pretty clear at this point. But this storm is one we're watching, and we've been watching for a little while now, concentrated right now very close to the DeWitt-Piatt County line, just to the north and northeast of Cisco. One thing I want to mention, it's important to talk about tornado safety tips here. When there's a tornado warning in effect, the tornado warning means you go to your safe place and leave a mobile home. Downstream, this may include D-Land and Weldon, D-Land and Lodge if it continues off to the north and east. Perhaps Whiteheath, areas north of Monticello. No warning in effect now for those areas. It's west of Monticello, but an extension based on everything I'm seeing may be likely. We encourage no travel in this area. The Interstate 72 will be clear west of Monticello. It'll be a close call near Whiteheath if this storm continues. And downstream, this may come to the west and north of Champaign. We encourage you to get in, down, and up. Think in, inside, most interior room of your home, down as low as you can, as many walls between you and the outside of your home, and covering up with blankets, pillows, a mattress, even bicycle helmet. Of course, stay until the all clear. We've given that all clear for Macon County, for Weldon and Cisco. This is primarily a rural part of northwestern Piatt County, west of Monticello at this point. And of course, you can watch our coverage right here on CBS, as well as right here on TV. We're watching it closely. Of course, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We've got meteorologist Kevin Leidy and meteorologist Jack Griffin out at Hy-Vee doing a little weather radio programming on a day like today. The time is 6:16, another 13 to 14 minutes or so with this tornado warning, and it's the only storm we have, but there are some other reports that continue to come in and some video. We're going to get that soon. So Kevin, Jack, we'll send it out to you.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing, the storms that we have here, there's not a lot, because we've got the wide view here. That's the only small storm, and this is a really small warning now. They've really trimmed down the warning. I mean, it's a triangle shape.
It's basically just for the rotation, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it, because the only thing they have there is the tornado. They don't even have winds mentioned. The hail threat is really low, but it's a very small area. Here's the thing. There are a lot of eyes on these storms. We've got spotters that we know, and we're in contact with them. We're seeing some of the photos and videos they've got.
They got the rotation.
There's rotation there for sure, which is why they've issued the tornado warning. I've not seen anything yet confirmed from them that says this is on the ground, but it doesn't take long. That rotation, this thing's spinning like a top out there, and eventually can put down that funnel. But as we've been talking about, this is north of I-72 here. There's a small area right there where the rotation is, and we can go in just a little bit more. And so look at the colors here. See these reds and these greens next to one another? That is your rotation.
Yep, when you get the reds and the greens like that in that kind of pattern right there, that's indicative of your rotation. And I mean, it's clearly there.
Yeah.
We just haven't had any reports with that storm yet, with anything on the ground just yet. But
this is a little bit more rural portion there, as you can see, because it is southeast of Weldon, north of Cisco there, but that is the clear rotation. And just got the update there. It looks a little less organized, but still there is definitely rotation. We can put a little bit of a path on this here. It goes off here to the east. You're talking maybe down the road, Lodge and Whiteheath in the next kind of 30 minutes or so, if this would kind of stay on moving so slow.
Yeah, it's about a 15-mile-per-hour northeast track on this storm, so it's definitely very, very slow. And as a result of that, we have to wait and see if it can hold together even to those points as well.
And again, there's not a lot of other storms that are out here right now. That is the show. That one right there is the big show right now that we're carefully monitoring with the storm that's moving off to the east. The warning goes until 6:30 p.m. So like Jacob said, so right now we're at
11 minutes.
6:19 p.m. rotation with this. And again, Jack, here we are. And I know some of you may be watching us going, where are they at right now? Yes, we are in the middle of a grocery store at the Hy-Vee in Springfield to program
weather
radios, ironically, because these things are going off across the area tonight.
Correct. And if it's not in this for this small area there, we have the severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 11 o'clock. So some of the people that we set up here just a little bit ago, they got home, plugged it back in. It probably went off.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
we've had about 15, 20 people come up. We've programmed the weather radios, and they bought some out here, and we still have these here tonight. But we're pulling double duty here, and we thought, hey, by the time the newscast is over, we're going to have to jet out of here and go chase some storms.
Correct.
And that's possibly what's going to happen. But we're going to stay on the coverage of this right now because this storm still has some of that rotation. And it looks like, it's barely moved. The warning was issued here northwest of Cisco, 15 minutes ago, and this thing has barely moved,
just
a few miles here.
15 miles an hour, that's all it is.
Very slow moving here. So the good thing is the storm spotters and chasers can keep up with these storms here. So here it is as it is making its way off here to the east. A very small warning. The big question is, what is the Weather Service going to do next? Will they carry this on into more of Piatt County, into more of DeWitt County? And that's the question.
Because the atmosphere does support rotation. We've seen a lot of storms already that have gone without warnings that have had, there could have been a couple extra warnings that we've seen out there because some of the rotation did look pretty good. But we haven't now picked up on this one. So yeah, the question is, does it keep on going or not?
So we're going to probably find that out in the next few minutes or so.
Yep.
Jacob is back there at the station as well, getting in some more of those reports, and we're getting a lot of photos and pictures and things. And Jacob, what do you got there so far?
Yeah, we've been watching these photos and videos. This was an earlier report. This came from about 5:30 north and east of Mahomet. There was no tornado warning issued at this time. The storm didn't really look nearly as impressive, and it really spun up quickly. This was, again, came in from Nicole at 5:30. You can see the funnel there on the middle right part of your screen touching down briefly and lifted. Other spotters reported that, but by the time the National Weather Service found out, they didn't have time to get a warning issued. Now, we do have some video coming in from the Monticello area, and we're watching that now. This is of that wall cloud that is down very close to the Cisco area. That video came in moments ago. We're seeing it first as you are now. Hard to see if there's anything that's down with it at this point. Those trees are in the way, but definitely that wall cloud still present with this storm as it continues to slowly move off to the north and east. So again, if you would like to submit videos or photos or storm reports, and it is safe to do so, you can send those to us on WCIA Facebook page, on Twitter, and check our comments or send a message to us. We were checking those, and we've got news watching it for this one tornadic storm here north and west of Monticello. At this point, no extension of the tornado warning has happened. The storm itself right on the edge here. Let's talk about who's next if there's a new warning issued, and that remains to be seen here. This particular warning expires in about 7.5 minutes from now. The storm itself, 5 miles northeast of Cisco, about 5 miles west-northwest of Monticello. On its trajectory, it will come very close to D-Land and Lodge on Illinois 10 near the railroad crossing west of White Heath, and it likely will come very close to White Heath, potentially downstream Seymour and Mahomet. But the slow movement of this storm means it will take a while to get there. So that's something that we'll watch here. Very much as we look at the velocity, a look at how the winds are moving, the rotation still evident here. What we're seeing is this red color, our rear flank downdraft winds really pushing out. And what that allows for is when you get a lot of fast winds on the south side here, can really help spin that up. Not nearly as impressive as it was earlier, but still enough rotation where I suspect the National Weather Service will likely extend this warning. Just for notes behind the scenes, if that does not happen, what we will do is we will take a commercial break and then continue on with the 6 o'clock newscast. But if we do get an extension, we'll stay right here on digital platforms and on TV covering this tornado warning now for Piatt County. I think we could give an all clear in DeWitt County also at this point. There's a sliver of DeWitt County near Weldon under that warning, but this mainly now looks to be a Piatt County issue, and we're going to find out very quickly if that warning is extended for parts of the area. That's something that we'll be watching here. If you have a report from the area, we do know that sirens have gone off in Monticello. Monticello likely just enough to the south and east where that won't be a concern. But we're thinking it may be close to areas north of Monticello. You head up north and travel to Lodge to catch Illinois 10. D-Land next. We're going to watch very closely. It's close enough where we think that out of an abundance of caution, even though this polygon technically does not include D-Land or Lodge, we think that you should be considering heading to your tornado shelters very closely here. All clear for Cisco, Weldon, DeWitt, and Macon counties. This is moving off to the north and east. We'll stay north of Interstate 72, may come very close to it by White Heath. That's what we'll watch here and continue to monitor. Again, we have that video. If we can roll that video one more time here so I can get some things behind the scenes taken care of. We're looking at this storm. This came from a viewer moments ago, and we appreciate the messages and the videos that have been sent to us here and this particular storm. And the area of rotation itself does appear to be just beyond that tornado warning polygon, but we will stay here and wait to see what the National Weather Service decides to do. Based on what I'm seeing, it may be worth an extension, and if not, then we're going to find out. It could be any second at this point. The rotation not nearly as strong, but still enough where out of an abundance of caution, that may be very much what they do. Again, we are live right now. The time is 6:25. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. One tornado warning for another few minutes. The storm itself is now on the edge of that polygon, and the National Weather Service now likely identifying and evaluating whether they want to extend that. If they do, it will happen any moment. The time of this particular area expires at 6:30. We encourage D-Land, Lodge, perhaps towards White Heath to consider sheltering. Even north of Monticello, north of town, north of 72, we'll need to watch closely. So we're going to send it back out to Kevin and Jack. They're watching the storm. I think maybe we're all in agreement here. It's a wait-and-see decision what happens, but at this point, we still are concerned for parts of Piatt County.
So I would say, Jacob, that you're right. I think what's helping this warning process for the Weather Service is they've got a lot of eyes out on this.
Absolutely.
So people are they are getting real-time information.
Oh, I'm misunderstood. I thought there was a new warning that came up, but it was the
the highway.
The highways.
That's
yeah.
Highway 150 there. So again, here's that polygon that that Jacob was showing you. There's the warning. The actual rotating part of the storm is out of the polygon.
Out of it.
So that would actually tell us that they are probably not going to continue the warning there. And those of you maybe just tuning in, which you may have heard, we're actually in a grocery store at Hy-Vee. We're programming weather radios out here, and just so happens to be.
Yeah.
We're doing that here. We're taking this storm, and we're watching it. There is still some of that rotation that is showing up, but
it's a lot broader.
It's a lot broader.
Yeah. It just doesn't look to be. It's still there. It just does not be looking as impressive as it once was.
So it is going to continue to move off there to the east. You're going to have a pretty good little view of the storm there. Eventually down the Rhine, in kind of Lodge and White Heath and even Mahomet, that you're probably going to be kind of carefully monitoring things. The good news is, like I said, people are out on this storm. They have eyes on the storm, and so they're going to be able to know exactly what's going on. But there are no other real storms of concern except for this one here, and this one has moved out, and I think that the Weather Service probably not going to extend this yet.
That's correct. There are more storms off to the west, though, in west central Illinois. Those are going to work into our area, which has been pretty favorable for some rotation. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of the evening goes, but we anticipate there being more severe storms as we go later on into the evening and tonight, too.
We're still going to be here programming weather radios, pulling double duty, probably triple duty when we leave and chase these storms back. But that's what we do here.
Yep.
We got you guys covered. Jacob will send it back to you here, and we'll have more coming up in the second half hour. Maybe talk more about these weather radios.
All right, thanks, Kevin and Jack. The good news is the National Weather Service just let us know they are going to let this warning expire at 6:30. That means at 6:30, we'll end coverage. We'll toss it a break. A couple of housekeeping notes. We did find out DeWitt County EMA said they sounded the sirens moments ago. They're asking people to stay inside and tune into the news. And we're here, but we will be ending our coverage at 6:30. In fact, we are calling all clear now for DeWitt County based on where this storm is. The warning no longer going to be an issue. There are spotters that are watching this carefully. So if there's another warning, warning. We'll be right back here with weather. Of course, when we head to commercial break here in about 90 seconds, we'll come back. We've got weather to talk about. A severe thunderstorm watch does continue until 11 o'clock tonight. We'll also show you some more storm photos from the area. Our spotters are watching it closely, so if it starts to spin up a little more, we'll get that report and be right back here. So the extension not occurring, but still perhaps in Lodge, Weldon, maybe towards Seymour. Just keep an eye out and an ear out. Stay right here with WCIA for coverage on TV, and we'll continue to watch this one individual storm, and that's it. More storms continue to pop out to the west here, and those may become severe later on tonight, but this little storm in Piatt County now, the tornado warning is expiring in less than 1 minute from now. Here's what you can expect during the second half hour. We'll hear from Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Jack Gerfen again in Hy-Vee in Springfield programming weather radios. We'll have another radar check for you. We'll talk about some of our reports and videos. We'll also have news coverage and more. Of course, get more updates like that on WCIA.com. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey in the Weather Center. Of course, you've been here with meteorologist Jack Gerfen and Kevin Lighty. We're going to take a commercial break now and wrap up our severe weather coverage. If you have any photos and reports, send those to us via Facebook Messenger, the WCIA3 account, and we'll have more updates during the second half of the 6 o'clock show. Now back to a commercial break.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6:30.
This is our chance to stand together and show that sign of strength that we are all standing together against violence.
Faith leaders and community leaders are calling for peace by encouraging the community to take a stand against gun violence. Good evening, I'm Jessica Coons. Jennifer is off tonight. This evening, people are meeting at Bethel AME Church in Champaign, praying in hopes of making a difference. WCIA3's Jamie Mays has been live at that prayer service. Jamie, there are several events planned this weekend to address violence in the community.
That's right, Jessica. This is one of many. Right now inside of the church, leaders and community members are meeting to address gun violence and pray. They say their goal is to join together in order to find a way to send a message of unity. Faith leaders are using prayer.
I think for us is our connection with God.
In hopes of bringing an end to gun violence.
Hopefully we as faith leaders can encourage a young man or young woman that, hey, you got a place to go for some hope, and you got a place that you can go talk to somebody, and I believe we then become a part of the solution.
The Ministerial Alliance, faith organizations, and the Champaign County Community Coalition organized 48 Hours of Peace. It's a multi-faith effort.
We've got Lutherans, Methodists, Catholics, Muslim, Jewish, Baha'i, the Christian diaspora, all coming together.
It's the first of several planned events to bring unity to neighborhoods.
We have youth who are traumatized, and so they may act out or find, or go down paths as a result of being impacted by gun violence. So we recognize that we want to be present, that we want to share what we're doing, and I believe that it's so important because there are literally lives hanging in the balance.
Our presence, not just in the church building, but out in the community, is so important to show we're with you and not just waiting for you to come to us.
By building relationships,
this is our chance to stand together.
They're hoping to collectively find solutions.
It is truly life's work to figure out a way to end this epidemic of gun violence.
Organizers say once these 2 days are over, the work continues. They want the community to continue to find ways to make a positive impact. Live in Champaign, Jamie Mays, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Jamie, thank you. Some of the events planned for this weekend include a Beat the Streets Teen Summit tomorrow. That's from 10 to 2 at Douglas Park Pavilion. There's also an HV Neighborhood Transformation Block Party at Crystal Lake Park. That's from noon to 5. There are prayer services and a family fun event on Sunday. We have new information. This week, an Indiana woman became the first person sentenced for the January riot at the U.S. Capitol. Now, a Sangamon County man has been arrested for being involved. Shane Jason Woods of Auburn was in court yesterday. He's charged with assaulting a Capitol police officer and engaging in violence inside the Capitol. In total, he's facing 8 charges. Woods is the 11th person from Illinois charged with crimes linked to the assaults. When you call 911, a police officer responds, but a new plan passed through the Capitol last month could change that. In an officer's place, a mental health professional could come to try and de-escalate the situation. WCIA 3's Cole Hankey is live in our Capitol newsroom. Cole, this bill would change how emergency responses work.
Yeah, that's right. The Community Emergency Services and Support Act would create an entirely new response option for dispatchers in the state for people dealing with mental health crises. The goal is to steer the people away from a jail cell and towards the help that they need. Illinois is moving one step closer to changing the way the state polices mental health. Lawmakers passed the Community Emergency Support Services Act. It changes the way dispatchers handle calls surrounding mental health issues and could end up meaning somebody besides a police officer is sent in their place.
Sometimes there's things that could have taken place where we could just keep them from sending them to the hospital altogether. So sending out my team, majority of the time we're able to deflect from the hospital completely.
Mental health professionals could step in and take control of the situation instead of an officer. Springfield police have been working to implement a co-responder model for years.
We have somebody else that we can confer with, that we can say, yes, this is the best way to treat them, or no, these are the other options that they have.
Some, but not all, police officers in the state go through crisis intervention training. But that training lasts 40 hours, and while it's beneficial, officers like Sergeant Doss, who have been CIT certified since 2003, is still painfully aware of how much more qualified social workers like Anderson are for dealing with these cases.
So they have 6 years of training compared to my 40 hours. So it's a no-brainer who's going to be able to help more.
The Community Emergency Support Services Act is far from a new idea. It's modeled after a similar program that's been in place for over 30 years in Oregon.
Let's let the police do what the police are there for, and let's let the mental health providers do what their realm is.
Now, the Community Emergency Support and Services Act will coincide with a new emergency call line that will launch in 2022. People will be able to call 988 instead of 911 when dealing with mental health crises, which will allow dispatchers to have more information on exactly who should be sent and respond to those calls. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Cole Hankey, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Cole, thank you. Healthcare workers say people are still struggling with mental health issues during the pandemic. There's been an increase in overdose deaths because of it. The CDC estimates more than 90,000 people died from overdoses in the U.S. between October 2019 and September of last year. Healthcare professionals want people to get therapy or talk to someone if they're struggling. Heading down to Arthur for the big fireworks show, what officials have said about this weekend's weather. Also tonight.
This is truly a great honor.
It's a Purple Heart University designation, what that means for the U of I.
news continues here on WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Today we recognize and remember the nearly 1,600 students and alumni who have received a Purple Heart Medal.
Today, the U of I became the first Purple Heart University in the state. That's how Joe Shaler began his speech at today's dedication. He's the commander of Chapter 159 of the Military Order of the Purple Heart and a Vietnam War veteran. WCIA 3's Renee Cooper joins us now. So Renee, what does this Purple Heart dedication mean for the school?
It means the school makes an effort to support veterans with disabilities, service members injured in the line of duty. Shaler and others from the Military Order of the Purple Heart presented U of I with a Purple Heart flag. On it, the words honoring America's combat wounded veterans. Shaler says the university is now a part of the Purple Heart Trail. The program began almost 30 years ago to bring public awareness to the Purple Heart Medal and what it represents.
Recipients and their families truly understand the meaning of our Purple Heart motto, and that all gave some and some gave all.
The university's chancellor, Robert Jones, called it one of the most historic moments in the school's history. The dedication is specifically in recognition of the school's College of Applied Health Sciences. There, the Shez Veterans Center is a support service for military students at the university. Applied Health Sciences Dean Cheryl Hanley Maxwell says helping veterans with disabilities at U of I goes back to World War II. Jessica, back to you.
All right, Renee, thank you. Do you have a weather radio but don't know how to program it? We have the answer. Plus, as you saw, you may need it tonight. You already did. Kevin is back in with another check of what's happening outside.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lighty.
What's up, guys? Man, it has been an interesting, wild evening here We've been tracking severe weather. Yes, I'm in the produce section of the Hy-Vee in Springfield, programming weather radios. I'm not kidding you, 7 seconds before I came on the air, I just finished programming a weather radio for a gentleman here. We've had tremendous turnout, people coming here knowing the importance of these weather radios. Jack is over here. We'll show him in just a second because he's actually helping out some of the individuals and all of the people coming in here tonight, getting things ready to go. All right, so I'm going to put that down. And then we're going to come back over to this storm that had us all going, whoa, I'm about to do tornado coverage in the middle of a grocery store. And that's exactly what we were doing. If we can go to the graphics full, we'll show you what's happening on the storm tracker Doppler radar. And again, the storm that we had earlier is looking a little bit better than what we had earlier, in terms of not as strong. We're not seeing that rotation. So things are good there into northern Piatt County. I know that storm's now heading up towards Mahomet. Some of you going, okay, what's going on up here? That storm does not have the same characteristics that it once did, so we're not as concerned. But the severe weather threat is not over. It's going to go all night, okay? Well, at least until 11 o'clock tonight. That's where the severe thunderstorm watch is in effect here, okay? You can see on the future track how we are anticipating additional storms to fire. That's 10 o'clock tonight. So we've still got, kind of a time where we've got to pay attention to these storms and, not let our guard down just yet. Now, overnight, I think those storms will be coming to an end. There is the slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center for tonight. With these storms, yeah, there's a tornado threat. We've already had some reports of that tonight, but high winds and hail also could be a little bit of an issue. Tomorrow, additional storms are expected to fire on your Saturday, so don't let your guard down on Saturday either, as more storms are going to develop. So we're going to watch out for that. Marginal risk for your Saturday. We may do it all over again. Quick look at the forecast here. Highs will be back into the low and mid 80s coming up here. And again, the other big story becomes the rain. A lot of heavy rainfall that is out there. Tonight, 72 degrees, rounds of storms. Tomorrow, a high temperature topping out at around 86. And your 7-day forecast, yes, that has not changed much. Oh, I just skipped right into the our camera view there. But the 7-day forecast does have lots of rain in it. We do have a few pictures that I do want to share with you guys. Take a look at these pictures. Lori and Cisco. As you can see here, I mean, here's the thing. These are some scary pictures. We had a lot of people talking about these funnels, the rotation that we had, and you can kind of see that there. Thanks to everybody sending in the pictures. Thanks to everybody coming by here to Hy-Vee as well. As we're going to be programming these weather radios, we're here. We got you covered. Jack's just over here to my side. Here, let's get a shot of Jack real quick. Jack's, there we go.
There we go.
And we're going to have more here.
Programming a bunch of them.
Programming a bunch. He's busy. We got to send it to break. We'll be back here in just a little bit.
This is WCIA 3 News, your local news leader.
If you're planning on putting on your own fireworks show in the backyard this year, firefighters say think again. The city of Champaign is reminding people they can be dangerous. Now make sure you are using legal fireworks like sparklers, nothing big. Make sure they're used away from people, trees, and grass. And remember to safely celebrate by leaving those big fireworks to the experts. If you're concerned, all of the rain in this weekend's forecast means no fireworks in Arthur tomorrow. They're saying don't worry just yet. They posted on social media saying a little bit of rain won't stop their show, and if they do have to postpone, they'll update their Facebook page. Just checking in, we'll have a look at your top stories. That includes an arrest for the January insurrection at the Capitol, where the suspect is from in Illinois. Taking a look at the top local stories of the day, faith leaders have a plan they hope will stop gun violence in Champaign-Urbana. Today is the start of 48 hours of peace. People met at Bethel AME Church in Champaign tonight to pray for unity. A Sangamon County man has been arrested after being linked to the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Shane Jason Woods of Auburn was in court yesterday. He's charged with assaulting a Capitol police officer and engaging in violence inside the Capitol. He is facing 8 charges. Coming up, we'll let you know what we're working on for our 10 o'clock newscast. Plus, the storms continue. Kevin's back in one last time to take a look at the weekend. We are keeping our eyes to the skies tonight and following a severe weather threat in our area. We'll have the latest on that coming up tonight at 10. And Kevin, you have been tracking that severe weather from Hy-Vee in Springfield.
That's what we've been doing here in the produce section here. Here's the 7-day forecast. Look at all those icons with storms. We've still got the chance for more storms and more severe weather tonight. The whole weather team is here. Whether we're at the grocery store, we're at the studio, wherever we're at. Right over here is Carol and Jim, who have come to get their weather radio program. Jack is out here programming the weather radios. And so this is what we've been doing here all night. We're going to be doing more of these events coming up, so keep listening for where we're going to be next, programming these, and you can buy these, and we're going to get you guys set up tonight. What do you think about that? Sound good? Awesome, guys. In Springfield at the Hy-Vee, it's been a great day out here. Again, we're going to keep you track with the storms as we go throughout tonight. Jess, back to you.
All right, we'll see you at 9 and 10. Have a great night.